Alright, welcome to the second video, and in the part one we looked at the first game in the match between Local versus Chelsea Slum. This is gonna be the second game, and it's gonna be between Aima Local versus Chelsea Slum 9-year-old, and this boy is his chess is very decent. I've had the privilege of watching him play a couple of times, and some of the moves he makes, I'm like, yes, show them. You know, that kind of player that plays fancy chess, just wants to attack and rough the board up. So for the second game, we decided to play something tactical because you know when you're playing a tactical player, sometimes it's even better to give them what they think they want, like a position that is explosive, right? But you actually know the moves and you know what to do. So you are navigating it while they are burning beam power. They are trying to look for that aggression, but you are the one in control. So that's a tip for those of you that have issues against aggressive players. So control the aggression, I call it. So the game was between Aima and our 9-year-old Chelsea Slum prodigy. So this game did not end in draw like the first one, but let's just dive into it. Unfortunately, I just noticed now that the score is already there, so we know who won the game. But do we know how she won the game? No, we do not. So stay to the end to find out and see the checkmate. The checkmate was actually beautiful. So after the first game, there was a brief break. We had our pocket money sponsor come and talk to us a bit. So shout out to Pocket Money for making this happen. Shout out to Chess and Slum. But let's get into the analysis. Like I said, I think I'll also drop the link to the whole um, the main video about the whole event. I'll drop the link here also, just so that if you are seeing this first, you can also know where to go and get it all. So Ima was white this time. She's playing against a kid from Chess and Slum. She just started learning chess. I was a coach. She trained for 125 days to play this donation match. Each game she loses, she's going to be giving a donation to the Chess and Slum. That was the whole idea. So e4, she started with e5, ninth out, and she went for this variation, the Vienna. A very aggressive opening, I must say. It was. I was skeptical about letting her go for this, but she wanted to play it, and she has watched a few videos on it. Videos help, especially at lower level, right? You just know you want to do this. It helps generally, but yes, it helps. I don't have any buts there. So the opponent brought out the knight, developing smart move, I must say. Many people just want to push this pawn, which is also not a bad idea. So the knight can come out and then get in this captures, and now he attacks the two pieces. But this is not. Black has not lost a piece, even though two pieces are being attacked. Why? Because what was the last move? The last move was knight takes pawn, but the knight is attacking the bishop. So he could have just captured the bishop, and then they capture your bishop. That's one piece equal. But I don't know what happened. He made a mistake here, and this was the beginning of the end. Saved the piece. So now you're a piece down, and your opponent has control of the center. Development. This piece is developed. This piece is developed. Oh, what's wrong with my Alice? This piece is developed. all the pieces are developed just to castle remaining, while you still need to bring out this piece and you're also a piece down. So with those little information, it's clear to see that white was already better. Now it was a matter of conversion. In the last game, like I said, she shocked everybody. She gave us this shock. So we were skeptical about how this game was going to end. It does prove that the game is never over until you hear checkmate. So captures, captures. Now he castles, which is smart. You still want to keep your king safe, even if you're a piece down. It's chess. You can still come back in it. Smart move, pinning. The knight is being attacked. Like I said, he's a very interesting player. He did not want to move the knight, so he used the rook to pin it. If you take the knight, your king will be under attack, so you can't do that. So what Aima did instead was to remove the king. Now you can take the knight because there's no longer a king on this square. So because of that, he had to save the knight. Took the knight, although to the corner, not the best place for the knight. And now she found this beautiful move. Although the pawn is no longer protected, but what you are attacking is far stronger because you are going to be attacking the king with one piece, two piece, three piece, and now the queen is attacking the knight also. So it was just destructive. At this point, I was like, yes, this game is over, but for someone that missed checkmate with king and queen, I was not convinced yet. I still had my doubts that something will happen. So he pushed his pawn protecting the knight, which was it the best? I don't know what was best in that point. But that basically drops a rook. Now the rook comes in, captures, check, check. She played this game beautifully. Now she brings the queen, trying to checkmate. But that wasn't the best move because instead of moving the queen this direction, you could have just gone up, and this is a check, meaning game is basically over because there's nobody that can block, and the only person that can block is the queen, and the queen dies. So she could have done that. Let me just show that real quick. Queen check, for those that can't see Morgan. The king is blocked, so the king has to move this to this square because blocking with the queen isn't good. The knight just takes, so you can't do that. You move your king to this square, and now there are a lot of ways to win the game. I think the fastest is a check. The king goes up, you capture, he captures back, you play check, king goes up, you play check. Now the king has only one square to go to, which is inside, and this is checkmate. So it's just sad that the game went this, but the game didn't go this way. The game could have gone this way, but it did not. Instead, she moved her queen to f1, which is also not a bad move. It's trying to come into the game, I guess. But it gives the opponent time to bring in more defenders. Now, these guys are going to come and try to stop you from checkmating. Okay, this bishop move was, I guess it was decent because now you're attacking this pawn and you're basically just wanting to bring the rook into the game. So it was a good move. Now he ignored it because the threats are just so much, so many things hanging. Now you could not capture the pawn, right? Because if you had captured the pawn, I hope you can find the winning move. or not the winning move, but the best move. The best move would have been to play a check attacking the king. After the king moves, you take the knight. So that's a double attack, or should we say fork. So that would have been good for black. At least black would have had fighting chances. But Aima saw that and did not allow it, so she brought the rook. Now all the pieces are part of the attack. And you can also say the bishop because he's attacking anyways. So this game was also of moves attacking the knight. Now she found this beautiful move, capturing the knight, protecting your own knight. If your opponent captures back, which is what happened, now you capture the bishop, protecting your knight again. So both the knight and the bishop, which were the pieces protecting the black king, are now gone. Too bad. So she brings the queen E. Why do I keep saying E? Because our first opponent was a female. I think the she is just stuck in my mind. He brings the queen to help the king, but there's a check, another check, and now he had to block with the queen because there was nowhere the king could go to, and that led to checkmate. So in this game there was no chance of stalemate, and she won the second game. So that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the series, the first game and the second game, and it does shows you that with constant work, with practice, you too can play chess at any level you want to. It does like a give and take situation. The amount of time you give, the reward you earn from it. So this was learning chess in 120 days to play against child prodigies from Chess in Slum, and those kids are strong. If you think you can do better, you can find their address online and go challenge them, I guess. So that's all for today. Thank you for joining. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.